How's everyone doing? This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and welcome back to Batman Be Vlogged, the weekly vlog series where I review an episode of Batman Beyond after watching it for the very first time. Today, we are kicking off Season 2 with Episode 14, Splicers, originally aired September 18th, 1999, written by Evan Dorkin and Sarah Dyer, and directed by Kurt Jetta. And as this episode started, we're just jumping right into it. I have nothing else to say. As this episode started, I was worried because in season 1 we had Golem and the Winning Edge, and I know two episodes isn't exactly a strong pool for this, but given my thoughts on those episodes, I was worried because so far it seems any episode that focuses on Batman facing a threat tied to Terry's school, I'm probably not gonna like. And the way this episode started playing out, I was really worried. But then at about the halfway point, it shifts gears, and the back half is much better. The first half is still incredibly slow, and there was a word I was going for. I didn't want to say after school special again, like I said with Golem and its whole anti-bullying thing or the whole drug thing in the Winning Edge. Splicers isn't doing something like that, but generally the big thing, is it's very slow and it doesn't feel like a lot happens. So what is Splicers about? I should have started with that, actually. So there is a new trend happening among the teen population of Gotham called splicing, where teenagers will, and presumably other people as well, but the focus is on the teenagers, where teenagers will genetically augment their DNA to give themselves animal traits. Maybe they'll have fur, maybe they'll have claws, maybe they'll have cat eyes. So that's what we're fighting. I'm sorry, even though this is a cyberpunk distant future, this is just... I can't help but find this premise kind of laughable. I know I shouldn't, because in this futuristic new Gotham that's been set up, and the futuristic setting this takes place in, this is something that's very possible, and this is not the first time this show has played with DNA. But it's just, for some reason, this is really laughable to me. Anyway, this whole splicing trend is being overseen by, hang on, I forgot his name already, Dr. Abel Cuvier, the head of the Chimera. Nope, can't do it. Sorry, in the episode they say Chimera, but if you look at it, like there's business cards and there's a logo on the lab and everything, it's Chimera. So I am going to say Chimera. Anyways, Dr. Abel Cuvier, yeah, I thought there was another R in there, is the head of the Chimera Institute, which is overseeing the splicing. Meanwhile, Barbara Gordon's husband, the district attorney Sam Young, is trying to get splicing outlawed, which he doesn't like. So he sends a bunch of his henchmen to try and put a hit out, to try and assassinate Sam before he can make splicing illegal. Yeah, because if you miss or screw up, that's gonna help your cause. I'm sorry, this episode makes... From the whole splicing thing, and as I kind of said, I found kind of hilarious to begin with, even for a premise like this. And then, thinking, oh, we'll just assassinate the DA. That'll make this better. This episode makes some really baffling decisions. And you remember earlier in season 1 when I had my theory that certain villains Terry was facing were sort of new reimaginings of classic villains if they weren't outright brought back, like Mr. Freeze or the Joker. Like I said, Ink is Clayface, what was his name? Willie Watt is the ventriloquist, and Spellbinder, there we go, Spellbinder is the Scarecrow. Well, for this one, because, augmentation, DNA splicing, animal characteristics, Dr. Abel Cuvier, in further perpetuating this theory, is the Man-Bat. Although, the difference here is that Cuvier is extremely in control of himself, whereas, when Dr. Kurt Langstrom became the Man-Bat, he kind of lost control and surrendered to his animal instincts. And yet, when Batman tries to intervene the first time, he actually injects Terry with and augments him with bat DNA, which Bat Terry is genuinely horrifying. Like, there are some good body horror elements to this episode. Not enough, but, this was a set. Even with the darker tone, like Batman the Animated Series, this was a Saturday morning kids cartoon, so I can forgive it for not going all out on the body horror. But that being said, there's just not a lot to say. I think I summed up all my thoughts. But anyway, we actually get a prominent role in this episode from Ace, Bruce's dog, who has been there from the very beginning, and I'm sure people reading the comics are familiar with Ace the Bat Hound. Finally, he gets to play a prominent role, After he helps save Bruce from mutated Terry, he then helps Terry track down Cuvier, who has gone into hiding with his henchmen, one of whom is voiced by Ice-T. And that was really distracting this entire episode because I could only see Ice-T. But anyway, Ace helps Terry track down Cuvier's hideout, and then Ace helps Terry fight Dr. Cuvier, who, after injecting so much animal DNA into himself, and his final form is truly horrific. I have to admit, this episode ends on a very, very dark note. Like, during the battle, Cuvier basically has his hideout explode, essentially destroying himself. It's very horrifically done. But ultimately, it's not enough to save this episode that I tried to just ramble through. Splicers it's not one of the worst episodes I've seen, but it is pretty lackluster. It's got a very slow first half, but then you reach the halfway point, the episode starts picking up a little bit, but ultimately not enough to help it. But that second half does keep it from being one of the weakest episodes in the series. It's weaker, but it's not the weakest. But those are just my thoughts. So, Batman Beyond, Season 2, Episode 1, Episode 14 overall, Splicers. Have you seen it? What are your thoughts? Please start a conversation in the comments below. And remember to like, comment, subscribe. Click the bell next to subscribe to get notifications when I upload. In the description box below, you'll find a link to my Twitter, for the time being, where you can follow me and get updates on the channel. This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and I'll see you guys next time.